Manchester United have finally been linked with a different midfielder, and his name is Sander Berge. Now you might be thinking, oh great, another person pretending to be an expert on a player we've just been linked with. But in the case of Sander Berge, I've been watching him and wanting him at Manchester United since the winter of 2019. This is someone I know a lot about. I know what he would bring to the club, so let's take a look. So Sander Berge is almost your typical industrious, hard-working central midfielder that is also capable on the ball as well. And that's where I want to focus initially, on the ball. Sander Berge is technically very secure. He's not elite. He's not someone who wants to take risky touches on the ball, bait people in, beat them on the press, dribble past them, quick footwork. That's not really what he's about. He is about safe touches on the ball, keeping the ball for his side. One simple safe touch to take the ball away from the opposition. He will then use his big size to protect the ball. He's really difficult to dispossess. And then after that, he's going to play a very simple pass either out wide to the fullback, to the centre-back, to another central midfielder. Typically what he will look to do is find a free man. So let's say, for example, the opposition are pressing with 4 players and your team has 5 or 6 looking to play out from the back. Sander Berge, rather than looking to turn past his man, will simply scan and try and find a free player. So for example, if pressed like this, the free player would be over on this side of the pitch. Within 2 touches, 9 times out of 10, he is going to find that option. He is going to find that pass. And this was something that he's been doing quite effectively for quite a long time now. You can see it in a situation like this. He's going to receive the ball. He does a lot of scanning work before he receives, so he knows where his teammates are. But he's going to move towards the ball, towards the goalkeeper, receive the ball, and then just quickly play this simple pass out here. It's very simple. It's nothing particularly complex, but it's really useful when trying to play out from the press. And this is how he is under pressure. Again, not a player who's going to drop and turn. He's a player who is going to try and find his teammates. Keep it very simple. 2 touches to move the ball to someone else. And again, I think that's quite useful for United in their midfield. Kobbie Mainoo is someone who can drop the shoulder and can dribble a little bit more in these areas. Sander Berge is someone who keeps it a bit simpler with the passing. And that could be quite a nice balance because it does allow you to find a free man. And if you can imagine in the United defence, finding a player with time on the ball, this could be a Luke Shaw, it could be a Lisandro Martinez, a Diogo Dalot, a Kobbie Mainoo in midfield. Finding that free man, the fact that United now have some decent ball carriers in the team, that could work quite nicely with Sander Berge. It could be a nice balance in terms of United's play out in that first phase. In terms of tactically how that works for United, in terms of the role of Sander Berge, if he was to be a starter, I would describe him as a dropper. Not someone who initially starts in the first phase, perhaps that could be Kobbie Mainoo, we know he's good with his press resistance, but someone who is eventually going to drop in, arrive into the space rather than starting there. A bit like what Toby Collier has been doing in pre-season for United. Starting a little bit higher up the pitch with a staggered approach in the midfield, then arriving deeper onto the ball and playing that first time pass. Now in terms of as the team then moved further forward, don't worry, Kobbie Mainoo would then become the midfielder allowed to move up the pitch, given that freedom. Sander Berge would very much then be a deeper player. I would assume. We can't say that with concrete evidence because his tactical role has changed a lot over the last few years. At Sheffield United, he was used as a real attacking player, someone who would bomb forward a lot, look to get into the final third and be a goal-scoring threat, realistically, a bit like Scott McTominay. At Burnley, it was something very different. He was playing a deep role. This was really epitomised in the last game of last season against Nottingham Forest. Burnley dominated the ball in that game, and Sander Berge had a lot of touches and was very much basing his game on keeping the ball, retaining the ball, sitting deep as a dictating midfielder. So it's difficult to say exactly what role Sander Berge would come into the side because we don't know what version United are wanting to sign. You know, what side of the game have we seen which makes us want to buy him? It's a little bit difficult to tell. In terms of if it was to be as the deepest midfielder, what would Sander Berge bring? I don't think he is a metronomic player. I think when he was younger, he could have developed into that, but his managers used him too high up the pitch. Could he still become that? Possibly. At the moment, though, I would say someone who technically is going to keep it quite simple. Again, he's not going to dribble through midfield. He's not going to dictate and dominate the game, so he needs help in this area. But when he does get the ball, his passing range is extremely underrated. A very competent passer. Short range, medium range, long range, progressive passes through the middle of the pitch, clipped balls over the top, he can do it all. His long passing in particular is spectacular. One of the best long passers in the Premier League last season, statistically speaking. He's incredible with his long passing, and this was really a feature of his game earlier in his career. In terms of what else he's going to offer to United in the midfield, should he sign for the club, ball carrying, drive. I was talking earlier about him being an industrious midfielder. Almost a typical British midfielder, if you like, a little bit. Someone who really brings that work rate, the drive and the engine to the middle of the pitch. Not always the cutest passing play, not always the cute touches and the flicks, but that industrious work, the ability to do the dirty work in midfield, but actually bring a real drive. Sander Berge is phenomenal carrying the ball forward. The power and the acceleration over those first few yards is exceptional, and then he uses his upper body really well to hold the opposition off. So if the opposition try and put him under a little bit of pressure, he uses that upper body, gets his arm across them to keep them away, and that allows him to drive forward. So on the ball, I like a lot of what Sander Berge does. He's also good defensively as well though. So in terms of how Sander Berge works from a defensive point of view, he is a double pivot player in my opinion. Do I think he is someone that can hold as a solo 6? No, but the reason being, I think on the ball he likes to get forward, which means if he was then to be a solo 6, out of possession, that's going to leave space behind him. Because he does want to be aggressive, he does want to get about the pitch and get towards the ball and apply pressure. So working in a double pivot would definitely be the best strategy. Although Manchester United have been defending in a 4-4-2 in pre-season, so again, that could actually work quite nicely. In terms of how he's going to operate in these areas, he's pretty mobile. He gets about the pitch well. His engine, again, is phenomenal. His work rate is brilliant. But he's not a ground eater. Not quite. He is certainly mobile, more mobile than Casemiro, of course. The ability to cover ground and put out fires across the pitch is certainly there. But I wouldn't say he is a game changer in terms of his physicality. He is good, he is strong, he is physical. He will win tackles. His ground duels are excellent. But not game-changing. You know, we're not talking about an elite bracket here. We're just talking about certainly an upgrade. You know, raising the physical floor of the United team. The dueling capacity of the midfield, again, with Sander Berge, you are certainly raising the floor. But he's not someone to sit in and protect. What he does bring, though, is aerial ability. And I think Manchester United need that alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Now, Kobbie Mainoo's not bad in the air, but he's not great at it. Same as Lisandro Martinez. He's not bad in the air, but he's not great at it. Same as Luke Shaw. Manchester United do need to find some players in the team who aerially are excelling. And Sander Berge last season for Burnley certainly done that. He was really strong in the air. And again, I think you can see all round a good, solid player. And that's how I would describe him. A really good, solid player. Good at a lot of different things. He's good at winning the ball in the middle of the pitch. He's good in the air. He's good on the ground. He covers ground. He reads the game well. He intercepts. He screens in front of his defence. On the ball, competent with his first touch. Scans well to give himself time. Plays out from the back under pressure with his passing. A little bit higher up the pitch. Again, a safe passer. Very good with a long pass. A good strong ball carrier. Good in a lot of areas without being exceptional anywhere. As a squad player, I really like it. I think he's a really useful squad player for a team like United, particularly if Scott McTominay leaves the club. This could be a nice little squad filler. The question is, tactically, how does he fit in? Is he actually the profile that United need? It's a difficult one, because I guess there's two questions there. Is it the profile I would like, and is it the profile that Ten Hag would like? Is it the profile that I would like? No. I like the idea of a midfielder who's going to sit deep in front of the defence, have a lot of passes, high volume, we're going to dominate the ball, play a little bit slower at times, keep the ball ticking over and play in that way. I think Erik Ten Hag, in previous spells, you know, with Ajax for example, but also players he has brought to Manchester United, I think Ten Hag wants a bit more of a chaotic approach at times. A bit more of a get the ball forward quickly, win the second ball, get the ball forward quickly, win the second ball. You know, playing like that. Playing on the high press, trying to force the turnovers. I think that's what Ten Hag wants from his midfielder. And Sander Berge does tick those boxes. I could see a role here where Sander Berge is used in the first phase in a fairly simple way. In terms of in the second phase, his long passing would be useful. His ball retention is going to be useful, but he would need help from someone else. But I think really where Ten Hag would like him is the ability at times to move the ball forward at speed. That could be long from Onana, you know, going direct from the goal kick all the way up to someone like Rasmus Højlund or Joshua Zirkzee in the attack. Or it could be moving the ball forward quickly through the lines. Of course, what happens when you move the ball quickly is you're more likely to make a mistake, you're more likely to lose the ball, so you need the ability to quickly win it back. This is where Sander Berge could be really useful for how Ten Hag wants to play. Quickly get the ball forward, win the second ball. That is Sander Berge. That is his style. That is what he is really strong with. So I do think he could be a good squad option for United. Again, do I see this as a game-changing signing? Not by any means. Is this a United must sign him? Absolutely not. But do I see why we could? Yes. Do I see how he could work in the team? Again, yes. I don't think he improves our starting 11, apart from physically upgrading the floor of the team. I don't think he's a massive improvement. But in terms of a squad option, Technically, physically, very capable. He's overcome a lot of the injury concerns that he had earlier in his career. That was a problem when he was at Sheffield. He's gotten rid of that. 2 seasons now without picking up an injury. So I could see value in this signing. If United could get him for £10 or £12 million as a squad player, alongside another new central midfielder signing, then I actually quite like it. I think it could be a little bit of quite intelligent business. United have been interested in this guy for the best part of 5 years now. And I understand why. He's a great player. A really good player who perhaps just needs to be put right in the right system. Could that be at United? Possibly. Let me know what you think. Do you like the idea of this signing? Do you think it's a little bit unambitious? Do you think it's actually quite intelligent, spotting an opportunity in the market and taking it? Let me know what you think. It's not going to excite people because he's not the biggest name in the game by any means. But he's a good squad player who could do a good job should United lose certain players. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. But apart from that, we are finished. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.